I came across this thread from Eric Michael Garcia, who's the Washington bureau chief at the Independent. And if those of you unfamiliar with the Independent, they do really good journalistic work, and I would recommend them as a news outlet to trust relatively. But they he compiled this list of different issues and races, right? And I found this to be particularly heartening. Washington Post, Shar poll on Virginia, likely voters governor is Spanberger, 53%, Winsome Earl Sears, 40%. Basically, the polling shows the Democrats are ahead by like 13 points, in some of these races. The lieutenant governor race, they're ahead by, 8 points. No, not 8 points, 7 points. Yes, 7 points. Math is not what I went to school for. Attorney General is 50-50, which isn't great. But the top issues in Virginia, 18% say it's the economy, 12% say anti-Republican, and transgender issues only poll at the top of people's priority 3% of the time. Right? Like that isn't huge. And one of the things that people have been throwing into the face of folks on the left repeatedly, and this includes Democrats, by the way. Democrats have also been trying to kind of spin this narrative that trans people lost Democrats the election, that like Democrats not distancing themselves enough from trans people being able to exist publicly without threat or fear is some kind of existential threat to Democrats winning. And that just is not substantiated, right? And one of the things that I really appreciated in this thread from Eric is that he brought it back to kind of the original point that a lot of Democrats started saying, oh, wait, maybe we shouldn't support trans issues. And that was from the anti-Kamala they-them ad, like she's with they-them. And a lot of Democrats saw the success of that ad and said, oh, yeah, no, this is, obviously most people just don't like trans people. And I think to an extent, some trans people internalized the narrative that Democrats and, analysts put forward after that, right? One of the things that I find interesting is that, like, that doesn't seem to be the case. What seems to be more the case is that the messaging of that ad was received by audiences less as, yeah, screw trans people, and more as, Kamala Harris will spend more time thinking about, LGBTQ rights than whether or not my family can afford to eat. I find that to be weirdly hope-inducing. Like, I find it weirdly one of those things where I'm just, it's nice to have an angle on this and data to back it up, indicating that folks, don't hate me specifically as a demographic. It's just nice, and that maybe, in fact, this country isn't as cooked on civil rights as a lot of people, especially naysayers and doomers, have been saying it that we are. And it's also like, it's not even necessarily that they are in favor of trans rights. They might be in the abstract, or they might not be in the abstract. It's just that, like, by and large, they're fairly neutral on trans people because they aren't encountering trans people every day. I've been well aware of their disdain for us in the establishment, but I also see the lefties who keep speaking out for us. I take note of the good ones. Exactly, Underground Uncle. But, like, it's just nice to see, like, oh, yeah, no, the polling is actually substantiating what I've been saying the entire time, which is that people want to be able to make ends meet, And one of the things that I've kept coming back to again and again is that the actual, like, material conditions are extremely bad. Like, this is kind of the high level view of it, but, like, people across this country are struggling. And one of the things, and this was pointed out by Anna Valens over on, Blue Sky, which Anna Valens has some pretty good journalism work on sex workers, if you aren't aware of her work. But one of the things that she pointed out is that, and I think that this is pretty accurate, right? Is that like sex workers and strippers in particular can be excellent economic indicators of how people are doing on the ground. Like the business of strip clubs is kind of an indicator that people have excess money to spend. And when business starts going down, that is in fact a really bad economic sign. And one of the things that she pointed out is that a lot of folks in the sex work industry are seeing a precipitous drop in people availing themselves of their services, right? So here is a thread. We need the real recession indicator. Strippers of Reddit, how is business going? Not a stripper, but my dive bar is down $50,000 compared to this time last year, and my booze is cheap. We're fucked if alcoholics aren't drinking. Or, I've worked in the industry for years. It's been bad for the last 3 years now and continuing to get worse. Prior to COVID at my club, you could expect a ratio of 5 or 6 customers per girl. Since COVID, it dropped to 1 to 1 or worse. And not just my club, but the whole area. The first couple of years after COVID, money got stupid good, but that all dried up a few years ago. Previously, when the industry slowed, the girls would bounce to other clubs and eventually come back after a month or two. However, girls are now leaving the industry entirely. New York City girl. I know of multiple girls who have lost their apartments. It's the worst anyone has ever seen the industry. My earnings have definitely declined in the past year. I'm still doing okay because of my past regulars, but they're coming in less as well. Tourism is down in my state. It isn't great. It isn't my only source of income, but I'd be struggling a bit if it was. It's bad, real bad, worse than it was in 2008, and that's saying something. I stopped by my old club last week, and the manager said they made more money during COVID. Left the industry entirely this year after the past 3 years of decreasing pay with no bounce back at all. Most dancers at the last place I worked were lucky to leave with $200 at the end of a shift. At this point, we're not getting naked for warehouse pay, ladies and gentlemen. The only women that are left are there because they either have no options at all, or are there because they have no other options at all. Everyone with an option is gone. The money is gone. Our clients no longer have enough money for the club, and many dancers have a second job now. So, like, one of the things that you're probably going to see is a certain contingent of Democrats trying to make an argument that, it's the culture war issues, it's trans people, it's LGBTQ rights, it's DEI. Donald Trump was right about DEI. It's gonna you're gonna see like a certain contingent of centrist Dems trying to make that case. And I'm here to arm you with the idea here that that's not accurate. This is what's accurate. What's accurate is that our economy is doing extraordinarily badly. And if you are struggling, you are not alone. That struggle is something that is shared by so many people right now who are working on the ground, who are trying to make ends meet with those warehouse jobs, with those just everyday jobs upon which this entire country runs. This isn't just you being in your head. It's not you, you're not worrying over nothing. You're not crazy here. It is, in fact, that the economy is doing very poorly. And a lot of the economic data that you're going to start seeing coming out of this administration is unreliable at best, especially given that Donald Trump has moved to fire anyone who releases poor economic data. So what we're really looking at here, it's it's pretty catastrophic. We're being propped up by the AI bubble. Yes, we 1000%. The reason you have not seen Wall Street panic is because all of them are betting everything they have. They're betting their shirts on AI being successful. And that is, I would recommend folks, regardless of where you're doing economically, buy some shelf-stable foods. Worst case scenario, you have extra rice and beans, okay? But, because that AI bubble is going to pop. And it is going to be one of the worst stock market crashes in history when that bubble does pop. They're all hoping they're all hoping that it's not going to drop, that like the other shoe isn't going to drop, that AI will have this huge breakthrough, that it's all going to come together. And I guess suddenly I am doing a segment here. But like, this is the technology that they're banking on, right? One example, right? Just one example. Here is an example of AI video games that they're working on trying to put together for the masses. And it's genuinely insane. Hallucinatory, I would say.
Chopper on us! Find some cover now!
Republicans think the morning commute in Chicago is like.
Unironically accurate, yeah. Accurate to what Republicans think. But, like, it's stream logic, but also, like, the only gameplay you're seeing here...
Is the stream buffering, or is that the game OMG?
The only gameplay you're seeing here is, every so often, you see a menu pop up at the bottom. Drive into the Uptown subway, or dive into the Uptown subway. Push up Broadway behind the bus. Cut right, climb the fire escape. It's just a choose your own adventure game that is generating, images to fit the prompts, right? And is it generated on the fly? That is, that is kind of the point here. There isn't gameplay per se here. It's just I don't know, man. Like and folks, you guys, here's the link for the video. It's a choose your own adventure FPS. Yeah, except worse, because choose your own adventure games are actually fun and cool and like crafted really well with a lot of intention. Like, point and click games are also really fun and cool. Like, adventure games are just awesome and they're so goddamn charming. But this is just like, why would anyone want to spend their time doing this? Yeah, this is a choose your psychosis adventure. Like, choose your own meaningless drivel. Like, putting aside the fact that all of it looks like shit. Like, he runs from the bus station into like a subway car that just pulls up in the middle of the road. It's insane. Yeah, what if we could make QuickTime events even more bullshit? Exactly. And that's all of this technology is horribly alienating. I don't understand why any user would actually want this. In a similar sense, we are seeing just people in business positions trying to just extract any information they can get out of us.
Oh, I just realized they made an FMV game, but with none of the narrative character or art of an actual human creation.
I mean, kind of, yeah. It's not even an FMV game, really. Like, it's Yeah, they're just throwing AI at everything. And one of the things that I personally hate the most are those AI like sunglasses or AI glasses that they put out there. You know, they made Ray-Ban sunglasses not cool. Do you have any idea what a feat it is to turn Ray-Bans into something that suck? But they managed it. They used their technology and all of their know-how into making anyone who wears Ray-Bans losers. You know, like that's what happened. Like this is a story from just like yesterday, chat. A $60 mod to Meta's Ray-Bans disables the privacy protecting recording light, meaning that for just $60, you could just walk around recording everyone and gathering data passively on every single person you see. And even if that light wasn't disabled, you could still do that. Like, I don't understand why anyone would be friends with someone who wears these or uses these. They are essentially a corporate spy. They've turned themselves into a willing stooge for a gigantic mega corporation that hates them and is just using them to spy on other people. And, like, it's just awful shit. It's just so awful.
The wheel, it calls to US. WHEELTHAWHE.
See, you know what? You know what I appreciate?
BWA.
You know what I appreciate about the text-to-speech? A human typed those words. A human forced us to listen to all of those E's in a row. A human forced us to listen to 7 L's consecutively together. You know, a human did that, and I appreciate it because it's silly and fun. But it would fucking suck if an AI just auto-generated that message. I would be so mad. I would be so mad. God, it really is just the worst shit. I have one last thing, right? The AI bubble is going to burst. Like, just monetarily, like, there's no money to be made off of Meta Ray-Bans because people hate them. There's no money to be made off of AI video games because people hate them. And that's not gonna change. People hate that shit. And, like, not only that, but the attempt to put AI into everything fundamentally makes human beings worse when we use it. And you might be thinking, but Jack, no. AI doesn't make people worse individuals. Well, here is a study posted, what day was this posted? In Computers and Society from the 1st of October. A study titled Sycophantic AI Decreases Pro-Social Intentions and Promotes Dependence. Basically, what does that mean? What does this study show? It shows that people who use AI are prone to becoming reliant and dependent upon that AI, meaning that if they try and stop using AI, they don't just suddenly get the
context
faculties
adds value.
back that they
Human
lost.
perspective is valuable in itself until I has self-awareness. It's creatively bankrupt. Waluigu laughing SFX wahaha wahaha wahaha.
Not Waluigu. Waluigu, just the failed clone of Waluigi. But no, like, this study basically shows that people who use AI become dependent on AI, and then they don't just get back the faculties that they lose once they are dependent. Like, once they are dependent, they lose the ability to be independent of it. And are just... Yeah, in a way, it's kind of like a drug, Superjet guy, yeah. Because your brain, you know, that's the saying, your brain is a muscle, you have to use it. It's true. If you stop using parts of your brain, you don't just get them back, it atrophies. And not only that, it decreases what the study calls pro-social intentions, which what that means is, in a practical term, is that people who become dependent on AI lose the impulse to help other people and the impulse to reach out to other people for help, meaning that they isolate themselves and become more and more dependent on AI. This is why all of these, businessmen want to invest into this technology, because they see it as the ultimate kind of apotheosis of turning us all into creatures that only consume. Creatures that only consume and have no independent interaction with one another. It keeps people on their platform, it keeps us dependent on that platform, and they can learn every single thing about us. Yes, in this context, AI literally kills the concept of community. All of that being said, even if you don't buy like the scientific studies that are coming out showing that AI use is bad for you individually, even if you don't care about the effects of the environment on the environment, etc., even if you don't care about any of
Hello
that.
Jack, LLDDDD, nice die, auto-generated AI, robot emoji.
Nice try. That wasn't auto-generated by AI. That was auto-generated by a cat on a keyboard. Also valid. Thank you for the $10 Australian dollar dues. If you set all of that aside and you're purely someone who's in it for the money, I want you all to keep in mind there is not enough investment capital on Earth to keep up with the amount of data centers they need to build.
The ultimate addiction mechanism. Surely no one would be evil enough to make this commonplace.
Surely no one would invent the torment nexus. Surely no one would do that. What we're looking at is basically, in order for them to actually have functional companies, the amount of resources that need to be invested into these companies by next summer is projected to be the entirety of all investment capital on Earth. It's not possible for this industry to be continued to be popped up. We can't do it. We don't financially, it isn't possible to prop up this industry for even until 2030. It's not possible to prop it up even until 2028. It is not sustainable financially, because you look at the financials of every single one of these companies, you're like, well, surely they're making money. None of them are making remotely the amount of money back that they are putting in. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars just being lit on fire and nothing being produced. And I take that back. One thing is being produced, and it's this incredibly effective demo that you all watched. Wow, look at this. Wow. Look at how that train just blipped a ladder and a walkway into existence for no reason. Wow, look at these signs that don't say anything. Wow, look at this train just hopping up on the platform.
Waluigian here. Let's enjoy some food from my homeland, Norway. How about a reindeer burger with avocado and Swiss cheese namu?
Samantha's Trains, thank you for the $5 donut. But look at this. Okay, up to guy walks in. Random explosion happens. Suddenly there's another half of the train over here. Blasts it open. Suddenly he's back on the train platform. He shot at nothing for no reason. Of course, there's Lafitte and Center, or Servior, or Service North now. We've got the two air conditioners, just one right on top of each other, so you can air condition your air conditioner. You okay? Just shoot that guy, nothing happens. Oh, yeah, the classic control wheel setup of Koidempt and Lurgeftisape. Gwt dad. Jalv donor. Just. Ah, yes. The passing. Yeah, let's just open up this bolt. Again, the car just rotates. Bunch of guys in there. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Fire at nothing. Hell yeah.
As someone who frequents certain ahem websites, I really don't like the explosion of iPron. Sure, some of it looks nice, but it doesn't hit the same, but it floods the market, so to speak.
Floods the market. Like, it all sucks. Like, it all sucks. Yeah, shoot, look, this van that all your homies are rolled up in. Shoot at the van. Oh, okay, that thing's gonna explode for some reason. I guess you ricocheted the bullets off the van to blow that up. And I guess the fire escape was also a smoke grenade. Oh, good. We just shat out a sewer grate. And this is where I was like, was this made as a joke? But no, it's not made as a joke. Aw, yeah, man. The classic helicopter looking for people in sewers. You know. You all know how you go into the sewers below New York City and you look up and you see the helicopter holes. So, you know, the helicopters can see you. Classic. Yeah, hunting the rat down.
They've got a chopper on us. Find some cover now.
It's just such meaningless garbage. And for that meaningless garbage and the opportunity to exploit every single one of us, these gross capitalists want to burn half the earth down and take us all with them. It's truly gross. You know? Yeah, you know, you're in a pipe filled with other PVC pipes. The classic maneuver. But, you know, times are tough. And I want to bring us back to the beginning of this segment, because I know it started with polling out of Virginia, right? But this stuff is coming for all of our working class jobs. It is attempting to exploit all of us. You know, people in Hollywood want to use this to replace actors and create region-specific films tailored with AI. Like, it's bad. And this is going to affect every single person. And people in power are saying, oh, no, it's okay, you'll love it. But all of us hate it. All of us hate it. And we are also dealing with the fact that we don't have money. Like, the strippers can't dance at the strip clubs anymore because people don't have the disposable income to get drunk at a strip club and look at titties. That's where we currently are right now. And like, the idea that they're going to be able to make back all their money on this AI nonsense, it's all a pipe dream. It's all a pipe dream to get funny with money. That's it. So anyway, yeah, that is where we're at with AI. And importantly, all of that exploitation, all of that material suffering on the part of folks who are just trying to work hard and get by, not being caused by trans people. And the sooner Democrats realize, and the sooner people on the left realize, and the sooner this whole damn country realizes that what people care about is their material conditions, not the fact that trans people can walk around in public without being assaulted, maybe folks will stop with this narrative that, like, oh yeah, Democrats lose elections because they talk about trans people deserving rights. There we go. Done. Segment done. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.